Brady A.
Hey, run that thing up.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Grade A Show, episode 22. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Doing cool, man. Just another day to talk about NBA playoffs. The Boston Celtics advanced to their 6 conference finals in the last 8 years. Does it matter?
It's too bad the 1-5. Well, no, I mean 1-4. I'm sorry. Before this,
Doesn't matter. I personally don't care about this because I want the big trophy.
yeah, I could care less. As I said, they're 1-4. We've seen it over and over again. The only time they got there was 2022. So unless they win a big deal.
I think Draymond Green said it best, and it was kind of crazy. Everybody, if you guys are watching, I don't know if he was watching when TNT came on for the post game. They asked JT a bunch of questions, and I liked it. I enjoyed it because it's questions that need to be asked. And I didn't think he expected some of the questions to come, but specifically Draymond was asking about. I think it was him or Barkley asked about them being there 6 times, or them being there 5 times in the last couple of years or whatever, and them losing. Like, what's up with that? Like, what's going to get you guys over the hump and stuff like that. And it was just intriguing to hear it come out. They also asked him about the MVP and the awards situation a little bit. He low-key said that, there was so many things he wanted to say, but of course you couldn't come out and say it right then and there. But it was pretty good to see those guys kind of push his buttons a little bit out there. So
yeah, I liked what we saw from Tatum last night. Once again, as I've said for a few weeks now, the best Tatum is the 20, 10, and 10 guy. Oh, what's up, Ace?
What's going on, y'all?
Ace, what's that behind you? Palm trees?
Yes, sir.
That's fake news. That's fake news. I don't know.
Hey, man, welcome to the episode, man. You out of the country, at least you can make it. That's cool, man.
I missed the last couple of episodes. I'm trying to do my due diligence. We can't have here on Grade A. You can't have multiple absences. That's behind the scenes. We'll get into that.
We did though.
You see Joel Embiid in Cancun right now?
Not yet. He's hiding from you on the island here. I gotta go check out the island tomorrow.
Joel Embiid, Donovan Mitchell. Although I don't think Donovan Mitchell's in Cancun. I think he's going to LA
honestly,
for vacation.
While we here, congratulations on the Celtics for reaching another conference finals. I'm not here to pass judgment or criticism. Let's just start with that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know how you'll feel about it. I'm gonna just lead with this, and y'all probably got into this segment already. I'm being rude. When you have Marcus Morris Sr. as your leading scorer at halftime, it was just like he has he has the experience to go. He has moves. It's just, when was the last time we really heard of him being in a position like that? I expected from Mobley. Yeah, I expected more from Mobley. My background is loud. I'm about to go back inside. I expected more from Mobley, Garland, and certain other guys to really fight. It's not
Mobley actually balled out.
Yeah.
Towards the end, yeah, but in the beginning it's like, but you know what? No excuses. I just feel like Donovan's not there, but fight. Next man up. We knew he wasn't going to be. It's like, all right, it hurts the morale, but it's like, keep going.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that, man. Before we get too deep into it, man, we encourage everybody tuning in to like the channel, continue to subscribe. You hit the nail right on the button to be honest with you. I mean, Mobley had a wonderful game last night, kind of the best game he had all series. And then Marcus Morris Sr., man, shout out to him. The last time I seen him play like that was in Boston. So that was pretty cool to see. And the Cleveland Cavaliers, I think, was able to show everybody that they're a pretty good team without Donovan Mitchell being there. But I feel like that's with all teams. We've seen the Lakers beat the Celtics earlier this year without their star. We see Cleveland do that to us, and the same thing with the Hawks too. And it might just be a thing with Boston, but we all know that they play down to the competition a lot. So it was good to see what Cleveland was able to do the last 2 games without Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen being there and stuff. So
one thing I noticed too is when we were talking about earlier this week, Al Horford. He had a good game last night, but rough series overall in general for him, and that's just not a guy I want to have to count on in the future to ball out like that.
I think he becomes the oldest player in NBA history to record a 20-point, 10-plus rebound, 5-plus three-pointers, and 5-plus assists in a playoff game, passing LeBron James. Kudos to him, but that's just reaching.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, and you are the Celtics fans. I'm a fan of Al Horford. I modeled my game a little bit after him when I did play the power forward position. When it comes to him, I feel like him, Drew Holiday, those are guys who at one point they were the man on their team, or like at least one of the top 2-3 options. When you go to the role like the Celtics, yeah, you take a back seat a lot, but it shows that it's still there when necessary. I want to say, if not last season, the season before last, when Giannis upset him a little bit. The year they made it to the finals, when Giannis bumped him and upset him, that he got back into the mode. He was hot and he got the ball rolling. That shows when he has touches early, he can get the ball rolling and get back to how he used to be. I feel like in games, we know who Tatum and Brown are. Well, you guys specifically, Mike, I know you're more of the real not analytical. You hold them to a good standard, and that's that. We're going to get to that. However, Tatum and Brown, knowing how they can get their looks easier than everybody and everything like that, I feel like after that performance, they should start the game early and get Horford his touches. Get him going early. Get him going to he can.
Hey, Musa want to know where you at, man. Let the panel know where you at, man. You still alive, man. Where you at, man? Living life.
Nah, can't talk to the side right now. I'm recording. I just feel like get him touches early. Mike mentioned how Drew Holiday hasn't been living up to standard. I feel like he's a tricky player even when he was the man on his team. But Al Horford showed flashes of greatness that he still has it. He can still do it. So shout out to him. As Celtics fans, do you feel like you'd rather play the Knicks or Indiana, or do you just say whoever comes, welcome?
I'd rather play the Knicks based on Porzingis' injury. Miles Turner would scare me a lot with no Porzingis. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, I would. To me, it doesn't really matter. If I had a choice, I would pick the Knicks just because of the injuries, like Mike equated to, and just the depth, and stuff like that. I think when it comes to Indiana, I think our problem, which I noticed this series, is on the defensive end. Getting real lazy on the defensive end from us is just not. It could only go on but for so long. And we haven't been battle tested yet. We haven't faced any adversity yet. And I think the only team to bring that to us would be the Knicks, to a standpoint of what Jalen Brunson, DiVincenzo, and Josh Hart and the boys is doing over there. It's still a series that I think we could easily win without Porzingis. But given what I was able to see so far this postseason, I don't think it's going to be an easy series, just based off of the defensive end and the laziness. A lot of times, even on the offensive end, I noticed with the Celtics where the offensive transitions is really stagnant. And if you're on the defensive end, you're supposed to be moving guys' eyes. You don't see a lot of guys on the defensive end turning their heads left and right. You could probably be the center or play a 2-3, be back there and still keep your head straight forward and be able to see from left to right without even moving.
Now, to be clear, are you talking about this is when the Celtics are on defense or against defense?
Well, when they're against the defense. So my thing is with the defensive thing, I would personally rather see the Knicks just because the depth issues, but I also would want the Celtics to face that adversity a little bit before they reach the finals.
Now, honestly, the Celtics is going good. I just feel like it's, like you said, I feel like the adversity helps with not only confidence, but to prove battle tested. But on the flip side, they are able to keep their rest and energy in a certain way. I don't even want to point the Celtics out. I wish a lot of teams. Lakers have been guilty off and on. I feel like as the games transition into the flashier shooting the three, step backs, we're in more of an ISO league now. Now, granted, certain teams you may have a couple players who move the ball, which is great, but I miss like how for example, the Spurs killed it a lot of years. They had great players, but they kept their longevity off of passing the ball, getting their open looks, 5-6 passes, turn to defense, and then getting a shot. That goes a long way that certain teams honestly just doesn't do anymore. Certain teams, granted, certain teams might have a great matchup, a great offensive player, but then when you get the ball rolling and going, it seems like you're using energy then, but then when you're having fun, you save it in the long run. Then you get to the ISO when the defense is tired and they don't have a shot. That's just how I feel personally. I just feel like Celtics have a great unit when it comes to that. Drew Holiday isn't Steph Curry, but he could shoot the three. Al Horford could shoot the three. Tatum and Brown space it like that. You put Derek White. Pritchard hit a good shot the other night, so his confidence is up. So that was good to get him in there now in the rotation. Except unfortunate about Porzingis, but when he gets back, if he's able to get back and be healthy, I don't want him to stop the momentum, but it's a lot of teams I've watched. Dallas. We'll get to Dallas when you bring in the next segment, but a lot of teams get caught up in, we have this person, let them. And I want to say early in the 2010 era, the 2000 era when it started, Melo. If it works, it works. But sometimes get back to using your team, getting that motion offense going, and that'll help so many more players in the NBA shine and flourish, I feel like, or preserve themselves.
The thing with me, and I'll let you go, Mike. The thing with me is that yesterday's game was still a head scratcher, and Musa stated that we already been battle tested. I can't point out one time where the Celtics have been battle tested this playoff so far.
I'm sorry, Mike, and I'm sorry, Peso. I want to say the game. Good. I want to say they were down. If it wasn't to Celtics, it had to be to the Celtics. They were down and showed that they could come back. Granted, no excuses. They earned that. Whether the Cavs gave it away or not, being in a situation where it's like, all right, let's not give up. Let's not pot our heads. Let's come back and fight. I can attest to the fact that is good. Granted, the argument would be level of competition. Who are they playing? Well, these are guys in their conferences that are doing it.
And that's where I'm getting at right there is that, okay, you could talk about that one game. You could talk about the Miami game. We was down one of those games as well. Is that a battle test compared to what the Knicks are going to bring us, compared to what Denver or Minnesota is going to bring us? And that's what I kind of get to that. Like, we haven't really been tested. We haven't really been pushed to our limit to see what these guys can do. Every game they've been winning this postseason has been by plus 10 points each game. What is it going to look like when we're under 10 points with 2 minutes left to go when we play the Knicks? We see what they're able to do in the clutch. We see what Denver's able to do in the clutch, the Lakers series, and now this series winning 3 games in a row.
I'll let Mike go, and then I'll get to that point right after.
Yeah, as you were saying earlier about Drew Holiday, my thing with him is the ball handling and end-of-game situations this year. That just sort of scares me in the final 2 minutes of what I've seen out of him multiple games in the ball handling. Other than that, I like Drew Holiday, and I think he's a good player. The only thing on defense I don't like that he does is when he'll go body up, say, like a big, like Embiid or Giannis, someone like that. Like, we need someone their own size on. But as for the Celtics being battle-tested, personally, myself, I don't think they've been battle tested yet. You look at teams like the Knicks, the Nuggets. They're playing battles every night. Every night those games are within 10 points for the most part. There's a few here and there that aren't, don't get me wrong. Because even though the Celtics had a game within 10 points in game 4, which was 109-102, I believe, they really struggled in the fourth. They went 5 minutes, I believe, without making a field goal in that game. And that's not going to hold up against these teams.
And that's my thing, and I'll let you go, Ace. Is that I'm not taking anything away from the Garlands, from the Tyler Herros, the Bam Adebayos, from the Evan Mobleys, Max Strus, and those guys over there. But a lot of games we had were close, and it's going to be a lot different when we get in the series with New York. I believe New York's going to close it out next game. It's going to be a lot different, and all I'm saying is that the reason why I would want the Knicks is because I feel like the Knicks is probably the only team in the East that's left that's going to push us to our limit to get at least a little bit more prepared for the finals. I don't want to be able to have to face that adversity and that heat in the finals.
I like what you're saying, but honestly, like, I've been on the wrong side. It seems like I've been against the Celtics in previous podcasts, but right now we're gonna have the argument, and I'm not even gonna bring it up because it's happening. So you're gonna have the argument of unhealthy Miami, unhealthy Cavs, right? Let's eliminate that. Back to what you said about the Knicks. The Knicks has been certain games they have the 7-man roster. They're gonna burn out. They're not going to, but it can burn them out. They had the one game which was the worst playoffs history. Lost in the New York's history. I would want New York to go as a New York fan. However, as far as Boston and competition, Boston and Indiana would be so much of a highlighted game because you have two teams who can not only keep it consistent on offense and defense, lengthwise, everything. I feel like that series would be the series to where if, Boston did what they did in round 1 and 2, you take out Indiana, what's going to be the excuse then? Honestly, we can't even say Randall. Randall's been hurt since the All-Star game, so at one point we can't even – that's not an excuse. Yeah, it'd be an added weapon, but they made it this far without him. So as a Knicks fan, I'm taking it off the board right now. As a sore loser, I would say Randall would help, but right now, off the board.
Well, we're not gonna call you a sore loser. We're just gonna call you a jumping on the bandwagon. We're from the Lakers, and now we're on the Knicks. But
for the viewers, that's fake news. I mean, New York, if you're from New York, you're always a Knicks fan. Brooklyn, it was a good thing going. However, I'm just saying with the Celtics, the one thing I don't like is Peso, to the point we spoke for years, playing down the competition. I've been guilty of it in playing. Like, it's a mental thing that you have to just really go until you come get out, go home. Now the one
sometimes I mean you make a good point at that because look how it was when we was in high school playing ball. You know what I'm saying? When we played teams like Arabia Mountain, when we played teams like Towers and stuff like that. McNair and stuff like that. Like we know we're gonna go in there and bust their ass, but when we playing a team like Columbia or Tucker, like we make sure we don't have no Wendy's before the game with those games. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely agree.
Back to like how Mike made his point on Mazzulla and his coaching style. There needs to be some tweaking there. I just feel like the game with Miami and the threes. These are professionals. If you give them the three and say, statistically they won't hit, well, statistically you give them that space, they're going to hit. We're not here to argue that. I'm just saying as far as their playoff path, if they face New York is a run-and-done team. I just feel like Indiana would be more of a team where if they beat Indiana, what would be the excuse? Indiana's healthy. Indiana has length. Indiana can defend. They can score, so it's like up and down like that. Honestly, New York isn't really they're going good, but they're not as consistent. If they don't close it out next game, then they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, and I completely agree with what Musa said. I mean, there has been a lot of teams playing other teams with injuries and lingering problems and stuff like that. We could talk about the Knicks with Philly. We could talk about Milwaukee and Indiana making it and stuff like that.
We could go back even, Kobe, the Karl Malone team that lost in the finals, they were hurt. My Cavaliers, when they lost to the Warriors, Kevin Love and Kyrie is down, especially in the finals. Kevin Love goes down, but missing Kyrie in that final is pivotal. There's been... Joe did make some good adjustments yesterday. I just looked at the comments. So there's been multiple teams who gets by off of injuries. So I don't even want to point fingers at the Celtics. It was just their turn. What series? Even on the West, Michael Conley being out, a couple teams on the West. So we're not even making it about the Celtics' injury. They can't choose who was lined up in front of them, but right now we're not even going to put that argument because still the next man has to play. Coming from me, that sounds crazy because I know how I am about injuries, and so we've had this conversation personally. I just feel like going forward, whoever they play, Indiana or Knicks, that concept of looking down, you can't do that. Everyone on the West right now has been through some type of adversity, has been some type of battle tested. I feel like the Celtics' best thing to go do going forward. Right now, you have your rotations, you have your first man, it's like kill. Have the mentality to kill because when you get to the finals, or let me not be like that. If and when you get to the finals, the 4 teams right now in the West: OKC, Minnesota, Dallas, Nuggets. They all come with the mindset like, oh, so let's get this win. Celtics has had the pleasure of like, all right, we're good, we're talented, but they need to really lock in mentally as well as physically. I guess I've been talking too much. That's what I'm trying to say. They have to lock in more mentally and go ahead away and attack early, if that makes sense.
Musa said Draymond saying he could guard Jokic better than Rudy is laughable.
Not right now.
It's not laughable.
Yeah.
I don't think it's laughable at all. And we'll get to that. We'll get to that series next and stuff like that. Draco, welcome to the show, man.
What's up, Draco?
What's good?
So I want to know, like, before we move on to Dallas and OKC, do you think Jason Tatum deserves the criticism that he's continuing to get? Given off of what we've seen so far this playoff series, of course we could go off of recent history, but do you feel like he's wrongfully criticized?
You know what it is? We look at Tatum's success and not his age. The success he had at the young age that he's having at, we feel like he should be great already, right? But realistically, most of the greats didn't start winning until 28, 29, 30. We're trying to put Tatum in that box with Magic and Kobe where they won real young. You know what I'm saying? So with the skill set they have and the team they have, we all feel like he should have won already. And since he haven't won, because realistically in the next couple of years, Tatum could probably three-peat or something and still be good, but we just want him to win now for some odd reason.
I just go straight to your point. My fault.
No,
watching the Celtics, the potential they have, 6 conference finals in the last 8 years. Especially that Kyrie team was my favorite because of Kyrie, but let's not go from there. Just like, honestly, and let's be fair, the Nuggets at one point were on the verge of like how the Celtics were. At one point, the Nuggets, the team they have now, were always talented, close, losing here and there. They figured it out. As someone who's a fan of the Celtics roster and how it was constructed previously versus now, when would it be their time to be like, all right, this is the formula, let's stick to it, it's always been either injury, key players moving and going, then now with coaching. They had a coach that was respected and everything that happened. It's just like, all right.
I think it's more so of a mental thing too, because, and I've stated this before, like every year for the past, since Jason Tatum's been in the league, and I wouldn't really count his rookie year, but the roster has always been different every single year, but it seems to always be the same issues.
But in the past, right? Like when you say Shaq, Kareem, and them, right? Them other situations I was talking about, you had a vet that was a superstar that been there before, realistically, right? Honestly, exactly. Tatum just went, but neither one of them really been a superstar who's been in a situation like that before. So
and I've said it before that Tatum has had so much success so early in his career that everything is always looked at as a failure if he doesn't get over that hump. Everything from before is like, it doesn't really matter now, which it doesn't. But I just feel like a lot of that stuff gets shunned upon of him making the Eastern Conference Finals 6 of the last 8 years. Every year he's been in the playoffs since he's been in the league. I feel like that gets shunned upon, and he's not looked at as like a top 5 player respectfully or top 10 because of one.
Outside looking in, I feel like somehow he and other players, because it's not just him, got drafted into great situations. He got drafted into a team where, as a rookie, the pressure wasn't as on. Gordon Hayward went down, but to Tatum's credit, he stepped up. They got to the conference finals. They lost to LeBron. It happens. At one point, Tatum went from having Kyrie. Kyrie was somebody who's been there. No offense to Al Horford, he's the vet. But Al Horford only been to the conference finals. I don't know if him himself on the Hawks had somebody there to be like, all right, let's do this, let's do that. I just feel like the core that they had with Brown, Tatum, Smart before he left, and Horford, they alone could have figured something out. Now that they have Brown, Tatum, now you have a Drew Holiday. You have Drew Holiday who's been there and everything like that. I don't want to say it's about the success that he's gotten early. Yes, he got success early, but he hasn't had the ultimate success. Now, I guess the moment is like, listen, you have all the keys, you have the knowledge, you have the coaching, the roster, but why can't you get it?
Because that early success realistically cost him MVPs.
It did, but it's like
Now he got
as fans are never happy. It's always going to be something. Oh, he needs to have his own team. Oh yeah, he got here, but there's always a but. However, now that he's here, because honestly, if you look at this situation, Jokic and the Nuggets, young team drafted together, made not finals, but made noise in the playoffs. Now he's getting his MVPs. But back to the Celtics point, he's not getting his rebounds because he has big men. But that's another issue as far as MVP. I just feel like now the stigma is going to be, hey, why can't he just get over that hump and do it? Do you feel like he needs to have be more selfish with the ball and score? Go ahead. My fault.
Team in rebounds in the second this year.
I think Tatum. Mike, you might know this more. I think Tatum is leading the team in rebounds this year.
Yeah, but I'm not 100% sure of that, but I believe so.
Fact check that. But like when you're Jokic and you're 7'3", like when you're taller and you're the center, you grab more. But that's going to be the MVP argument. For a team argument, I don't know if it needs to be a thing where he's like, you know what, let me be more selfish. He was, ever since drafted and he always had some type of help. You have a good team, so it is what it is. He's never had it in a situation where it's like, all right, give me the ball and get out the way. No, but at the same time, I guess it needs to be a point where he controls the pace and he puts a stamp somehow. I just feel like that's a young team that needs to take advantage of how they got to one finals appearance, yes, but can they get back? This year looks slated for them to get back. It is what it is. However, I guess everybody wants to see this team crossover finally. Let's put it like that. LeBron was getting conference finals, but he was like making the finals. Make the finals, get over the hump, and then after that, we can talk about the other Tatum arguments.
So let's get to the other series because we give him a lot of criticism, which is well deserved.
Just one thing I want to add before we go off of it. I think a big problem with this is Tatum is a victim of the green teamers trying to prop him up as the best player in the league. He's a great player and he's a good player, but you have the national media guys and everyone else bringing him down a level to not where he belongs, lower than where he belongs, but they need to bring him down because the green teamers have just become so insufferable. Like you guys, we have a championship team. I'm not a green team, I'm a Celtics fan, but we have a championship team. Just accept it if we win the championship that he's not the best player in the league. Don't go for both. You don't need to.
Yeah. And I think Draco hit the nail right on the button. Is like everybody expects so much for him because he's done so many great things. He's still human at the end of the day. Just because he won a ring doesn't mean he's better than Jokic. So.
But you know what's crazy about that team though? Because I seen old clip of Tatum playing 1-on-1 versus Embiid. Why I never put Tatum on Jokic to defend?
Well, let me go. Well, given off of the eye test of how I've been watching this series so far, and going towards what Mike was saying, how I noticed that Mazzulla gives Jrue Holiday the opportunity to body up defenders, bigger defenders, more 15 foot and in. Which sometimes I don't have a problem with it because Jrue Holiday is just more aggressively defensive-wise than a Tatum is.
Okay.
I just feel like Tatum focuses more on the offensive end but plays defense when he wants to. Off of me, what I see, countless amount of times, specifically this series, he was getting beat off the dribble by Evan Mobley. Okay. And I would say that I would think that Mazzulla has notices that and wouldn't bother putting him on like a defender like a Jokic. And then at the same time, it's like we know, can't nobody guard Jokic. But then it's like, do you want your best player getting in foul trouble? Because Jokic kind of attacks that.
I'm gonna say from the outside looking in, with those those interconference matches or how cross conference matchups, you play them twice a year. But I feel like, as I said this episodes ago, you have to look at the top four and always picture yourselves in the finals against them because you don't know who you may play in the finals. I just feel like as far as Boston versus Minnesota, with the length that Boston has, the length Minnesota has, not Minnesota, the Nuggets, Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon is already a problem enough that you may need Tatum or Brown on one of them instead of on Jokic. Granted, he can do good against Jokic, but then Aaron Gordon's been hot. Michael Porter Jr. can be sometimes, like they take turns. the system that the Lakers had has been a key. Minnesota's doing it now. When you rotate bigs on Jokic, just get a body, a different defender, to make him think more. It works. That would be my advice or my take on the Celtics versus Nuggets. But you guys are the actual more fans on that. I'm just talking from like the eye test of me on the outside looking in.
Yeah, which is rightfully so. I mean, we all watch the game of basketball and stuff like that. It's just like, I'm a fan of the Celtics and stuff, rooting for them all the way, but I call it out for what it is. And just like Mike said, I personally don't like the matchup putting Drew Holiday down there, but I would rather put him down there knowing that we got Derek White and Peyton Pritchard to be able to back him up versus Tatum. If he gets in foul trouble, we're kind of in the hole a little bit. He's not a very smart defensive player, in my opinion. I'm not saying he's not good defensively. I just think his IQ defensively can improve a little bit more. But moving on to Dallas, like I said, Tatum gets a lot of criticism, which I definitely feel like it's deserving. But now let's get to Luka.
I just want to start honestly, and I'm sorry, I didn't even let you finish, bro. That's rude of me.
No, go ahead.
Luka Doncic, I want to say Game 4. It has to be Game 4 because Game 5 was just played. You're leader of the team. You're in league conversation of possible MVP. When you go down at 94, 96, and you miss 2 free throws that could have tied the game, that right there could have changed all the momentum alone. He did a lot of other things that game. He had some turnovers that were costly and things like that. He felt like he had to answer whoever scored. Now, Kyrie's not going to miss none of this blame. I'm going to get to him. That's my favorite point guard in the league right now. However, those free throws got to be hit. That changed the momentum of the game so much when he missed those free throws.
And let's keep in mind too, Luka's dealing with a little lingering injury. But I'm not making that any type of excuse given that what he just did last night. And then also seeing what Embiid was able to do out there with 3 different injuries.
Luka has two knees. One had a sprain, or one is sore, the ankle. And yeah, he has the injury. But as athletes, as fans, Mike don't care about injuries. Me and Dre, when you that other team isn't gonna slow down the crossover because they're like, oh, his knee. Let me just hit a step back. He could defend. No, sports is about taking your advantage and going with it. If you're telling the doctors, if you're telling your teams, your brothers out there, you're telling your family, whoever you talk to before, if you tell everybody you're good to go, you're gonna make it work. You make it work. Pistons, Isaiah Thomas, I want to say played with a broken hand or foot or ankle or something like. He played with something broke, something that this wasn't even supposed to be out there. I feel like over time that will to go. However, Tatum can't. Not Tatum. We spoke about Tatum. Luka can't dodge that free throws, and however, Kyrie too. They've had a system where Luka will open the game up and Kyrie will try to close. I feel like Kyrie sometimes is the closer. Let him get some of those touches at the end. Respectfully so, not to be cocky, he's been there to the conference finals and beyond.
But what I really want to get to, and I'll let y'all go, keep going. But what I really want to get to is that we know Luka's a top 3 player in the league, in my opinion. I think we all could agree to that. But
top five.
Right, we could go top 5. We could go top 5.
We're not doing top 3 just yet.
Is he deserving of the same criticism that we give Tatum?
He is. Why is he not?
Because he's been to the Western Conference.
But you know what they're going to say? He didn't have a supporting piece like Brown for all those years. You know what I'm saying? Because let's be real, Brown is a wonderful talent.
Yeah, he is for sure.
He's a great complimentary secondary. Yes.
This is why I'm not holding that or hearing that. Yeah, he's done good. He's a great talent to help. When you had a talent like Porzingis, you only wanted him to stand in the corner and shoot threes. And that's like, and honestly, in his like, where's the camaraderie?
But I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like he only wanted him to stand in the corner because if you look at the bigs he got now with Gafford, Lively, and PJ Washington, they are bang. They could do both. They could spot up and they both could bang in the paint.
They're aggressive and they can bang. But when you watch the short stint that Porzingis had in the Wizards, where he didn't have to bang, but he still slithered through. He was crafty. And honestly, Porzingis isn't from America. Like, where's the camaraderie? He's like, listen, you came here to play. Let's do this together. Let's use your strengths and weaknesses. Let's use your strengths so we can win.
just standing in the corner, like, come on, like he could have done better with that. I feel like Tim Hardaway Jr., we had high expectations for him, especially coming from New York, and he's shown flashes this year. I guess Kyrie might have talked him into it, and he's done better. Now, he hasn't had the help, but if you're the greatest and you're one of the best, shout out to him. He's made it this far without it. However, you're in the thick of it. What are you going to do to use your team? I feel like sometimes he's not always using his team.
And the thing is, right, Luka had a young Brunson. Brunson still didn't believe he was supposed to be in the league, though. If he had this Brunson right now, it could have been different.
Honestly, would have, could have, should have. Brunson was showing his flashes. However, it came down to contract, and I don't know the full details. I don't know if any of you do, but we're not even going to get into that because Brunson with this Luka, would he has shined as much with Luka having all the touches? Kyrie doesn't even, and it's Kyrie. He doesn't even get all the touches that he might have deserved sometimes. But Kyrie said it himself. When it came to Jordan, he didn't, and honestly, no shade, but it is what it is. He didn't put LeBron in this, but he said when some of the greats did it, they played offense and defense. And he accepted the challenge and knows he has to defend and play offense. Shea Gillis isn't going to care about no ankle injury. He ain't going to care. Who you play for or who you got. And he doesn't have a Brown or nothing like his team.
With this team, right? With that Dallas team, would you rather have Brunson or Luka?
I would still take Luka. I think it's really just the team around him. But I'm not making that an excuse to take away the criticism that he deserves.
How much better can you put a team in? You have a perennial shooting guard, scorer. I'm not going to say shooting guard, scorer in Kyrie. You have two young bigs in Gafford and Lively. You have a young forward with PJ Washington. Who else do you need? You need only thing I could say y'all really need that Dallas really need is that 3-and-D wing.
It would be nice to see them get like a role players off the bench like a Max Strus or like a Hauser or a Peyton Pritchard off the bench or something like that. Somebody that could bring some grit off of that bench.
That's what Tim Hardaway's supposed to be.
Supposed to be.
Luka is double-edged sword. He's an offensive weapon that's weakened on defense. Your greatest strength is your greatest weakness, and he holds the ball too long. So think about it. You go a couple plays without touching the ball, you really lose the feel for it.
Don't get me wrong. I think Dallas has a good team around Luka. I think this is one of the best teams that he's in have, especially picking up PJ Washington and him being able to elevate his game a lot more from outside in shooting that 3-ball, and the same thing with Gafford too. Derek Jones has elevated his game. This to me is one of his best seasons he's had in his career, to be honest with you. And yeah, I think they eyed over there. I don't know, with them playing Denver or Minnesota next round. I don't know. It's gonna be tough.
Y'all think they close it out next game on
Saturday? I think so. I think so.
Hell no, it's going 7, baby.
The thing is, we've been able to see in this series, and it's crazy because I called Dallas in 6 too a couple episodes ago, but we've been able to see in this series just OKC's lack of experience, and it's nothing to take away from them. They're out there playing hard. Luke Dort is playing hard. Chet is doing an amazing job, but he's just not hitting his shots. And Shea's doing what Shea is doing. But I just think with Luka's experience, with Kyrie's experience, PJ Washington is playing at a very high tier right now. To me, is probably before last night their best player on that team this playoff series.
One thing that scares me about
Go ahead, Mike.
One thing that scares me about the Mavericks, though, is just like how I said about Al Horford with the Celtics. PJ Washington is not a piece that I want to have to rely on for the success of my team.
No, and we talked about this, Mike. We talked about this. Like I wouldn't want to rely on him moving forward, but when the hot man's hot, feed the hot man the ball.
Without
you know.
I will say this: I feel like last game's deciding factor with OKC and Dallas is the fact that they benched Giddey for Isaiah Joe. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, that kind of confused me yesterday when I seen the starting lineup. I'm like, where the hell was Giddey at?
They benched him for whatever reason. I understand. I feel like it's because he was inefficient in the turnovers, but I'm still starting Giddey over Isaiah Joe. I'm just being honest.
Because Giddey is the playmaker too.
Exactly.
Yeah, he'd be moving in transition too. But no, shout out to OKC, man. I definitely think they got a lot in future in store for them and stuff like that. I believe they got like a top 12 or top 14 pick in the draft this year. and plenty more to come. So
This is
a
this is-
ton of
this is
picks.
random, but while you're on OKC, shout out to them. One thing we forget about this year's playoffs in the West, not Minnesota, Memphis is coming back next year, and Memphis ain't gonna be.
They might.
Memphis is coming back. So one of those older teams, Lakers, Warriors, New Orleans, Phoenix, somebody ain't gonna make it. So the West is gonna get one team better next year.
But real quick though, with Memphis though, last year technically they got rid of their best defender and their best playmaker.
That's
tied
but
Dylan.
while we still on the OKC, I feel like OKC may get eliminated, but that's up to Dallas to either close out. You can't miss free throws and have turnovers. Same with the New York and Indiana series. These teams, New York tonight, Dallas tonight. I'm assuming both games are tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it's just
Minnesota
Dallas.
and Denver.
Or, I'm sorry, Minnesota and Denver. Yeah.
The other week, I'm tripping, but the other good day. They got to close out before it goes to Game 7 and things get scary because the pressure is only going to be up even more in Game 7.
Who's that,
wait,
Dallas?
For who? For Dallas?
Dallas and New York.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think Dallas closes it out. I think New York closes it out for sure though, because I'm not gonna. Brunson, I feel like Brunson in the closeout game, he's just gonna go bonkers. He got no choice but to close it out. He know if they go another game, they're gonna be too
Brunson
tired.
has been on a tier this series. He has been on a tier this series.
He's gonna close it out. I got Brunson closing
He's
it
been
out.
on the tear this whole playoffs.
Yeah.
Shout out to him, man.
Pay attention to the.
His whole year he's been up there. Like he's been deserving of that contract he got from New York.
Pay attention to who the refs are. If Scott Foster's in any of these Game 6s, bet the team that's down in the series.
Yep. Yeah, somebody. I just seen that on Twitter.
It's been a thing for years. Just look at the stats.
Last but not least, Draco. You think Denver closes it out tonight?
Nah. It depends.
You had some type of hesitation with that one.
I think Anthony Edwards going 50 tonight, bro.
I think even if Anthony Edwards drops 50, and I'll let you guys go. I'm just saying one little thing. I just think Denver took control of the series, like winning 3 games in a row. I think Jokic is now score first, score second, score third. He's not worried about getting other people involved.
Yo,
That's just how I'm looking at it.
Shout out to my Golden State man Draymond.
Defensive player of the year in the regular season
What he
and the
said?
A
defensive player of the
liability
year.
in the playoffs.
He said what Draymond said. Rudy Gobert up there speaking his foreign language. We. No, it's you. You need to get a stop. And I 100% agree with that man because at the end of the day, 9 times out of 10 in that last game, it was Rudy and Joker. And you just needed to get a stop.
Like
and
they
you
said,
couldn't.
at least foul out. At least be aggressive. Do something. Like
Foul out, yes.
you getting killed.
Killed.
Aaron Gordon's even balling on Rudy.
You get what I'm saying?
Somehow they both teams won away, which was great, and it was like great how Minnesota won 2 games away, then Nuggets went 2 games away. I just feel like honestly, whatever energy they had when Rudy Gobert wasn't there and they blew out by 30,
They need to bring that back.
Rudy might have to sit out for the second game.
No. Y'all are capping.
Wait.
Rudy
Hold on, bro.
did everything he could do on
Rudy
that in that matchup. No, it's just if you watch the game, Rudy was in great defensive position most of the times. He was matching on the island.
No, Musa.
Yeah, too bad you let him
Look at
pass.
the baseline.
It don't matter if you're in a
the baseline play, he got
possession. Move.
The baseline play when he had he threw that hook shot, bro. Yeah. Oh my fault.
Jokic had Rudy on his toes, twisting in opposite positions. Like if
Did
you
you
actually
not,
look
did
at
you
the
not see the play when he did that hook shot from the opposite side of the
no, I know exactly what you're
That's one
talking
play,
about.
though.
Yeah, he had one play out of 25.
What about the floater where Rudy had to jump like 20 feet to try to contest?
Let me tell you
Can't
something.
do nothing with that.
You
He
win,
literally matched him every
I'm
play
the wrong
most times.
position.
He had a couple good defensive looks as far as his movement, but majority of the time,
he wasn't there.
if you look at Jokic's footwork and the way he was moving in the post, Rudy
Rudy wasn't up there with him.
he was on the wrong side of his back when Jokic was going the other. Yeah,
can't
but-
do
but-
nothing
Bro,
with
as your
Jokic.
defensive player, yes, you can, bro. I'm tired of
No,
hearing
you
that.
can't.
You are
No, you
defensive
can't.
player of the year. You can find a way to do it, bro. We're not about to sit here.
No, you
We're
can't.
not about to big him
That-
up when he played great on the
No.
perimeter, but when he go against somebody that's the same size, he's
No,
struggling,
you
bro.
can't. You can't do nothing
Yes,
about
bro.
that.
Y'all be
Because look at. I'll give you another
Four-time
example.
player
No
of
one's
the
no one's
year.
trying to. No one's giving them an excuse. But I'm saying it's gonna come to a point
It
where you're
sound
gonna
like
go
it.
against. You're gonna know. Let me finish. Maybe you can listen. When you go against someone that's
Oh,
clearly
goodness
better than
gracious,
you,
bro.
you're going to get outmatched. I give you an example. Matumbo was a defense player of the
Man,
year.
stop
He
giving
was
that
talking all
outmatch
that.
stuff, bro. We're not doing
That's
that.
what
Y'all would
it's not.
match
Was
up
it match?
equally, bro. Y'all
Anyway,
match up. Who got the
and
longer
no, they don't.
wingspan?
No, they don't. They don't match up
Joker,
evenly. What are you
Joker,
talking about? You got Jokic out there hitting step back Jamal Murray threes in his face. What
You're
what
talking about
you gonna do?
offensively. What I'm saying is,
That's the
when they're
point.
on
That's
the
what you get
block, forget
outmatched. You
perimeter,
get
on the
outmatched
block,
on
you're telling
offense.
me Joker can. You tell me Rudy Gobert cannot do like he can't figure out a way to
He
make
is
one stop, bro.
outmatched. He is outmatched.
Oh my goodness.
Offensively,
Okay.
like you just said.
All right.
Jokic's
Never mind, bro.
footwork.
You're right, bro.
I just-
You're right, bro.
I
You're
just
right.
feel like-
Niggas is outmatched, bro.
I just feel
Just
like
Y'all
just like-
defensive
like
player of the year that y'all
Matumbo-
bigged up all year. Rudy this, Rudy this.
Matumbo's
Now it's
defensive
he's
player of the year
outmatched.
too. Matumbo's defensive player of the year too. He got cooked by Shaq.
well,
It happens.
honestly,
What are we doing?
no disrespect
All right,
to
bro.
Matumbo, but as of right now, it's great, big offense.
Who wasn't gonna get outmatched by Shaq? Like, be for real,
It's
bro.
the
Like, we're
same
comparing
thing
Joker
with
to Shaq.
Jokic.
Like,
Yes, look at
Rudy is
the
not no
numbers.
Matumbo, bro. Like,
And
but he
Jokic
can
is
do
dominant.
something against Joker, bro. It's not like we've
No,
seen
you
we've
cannot.
seen
AD
lesser
couldn't do nothing.
people do
Who?
better on Joker
Who?
than y'all
I
rating
didn't-
defender.
Who?
I didn't see Joker go off like this last
Who?
series against the
Like,
second.
come on. Like, thank you, Ace,
Damn,
bro.
my
Thank you, bro.
damn, my
AD
connection
got
isn't-
second of defensive
damn,
player,
my
and
connection
he
sound
held way
bad.
better than
My
first
connection
place.
sound like it's
So
lagging.
you said what?
Who?
Um,
Who Ace? Y'all are lagging. Y'all.
My fault. Am I lagging now?
Nah, I hear you
nah,
perfectly.
y'all
I hear
good.
you.
It might,
Honestly,
it might be
not to be
Moose's
that guy.
connection.
Other than those that shit,
AD came in second place.
What
of
is
defensive player
define
of
what
the
is he
year.
doing good at? Because Jokic still don't. That's to define what is doing good at holding someone up. Because
Sometimes you got
Jokic still average
oh,
numbers against AD.
hand
It
somehow.
was like he averaged great numbers against whoever else you want to mention, like a Draymond.
Oh.
I heard Draymond talking about he can do better when every time Jokic matched up against him this year, he averaged like 33.
That's this year. How about last
So,
year? How about
like,
the year
what are
before
we
that? Let's go
doing,
career matchup. Let's
Draymond?
go
But
career
that's
matchup.
besides the point.
Because everybody want to choose the favorite year when he's winning. Let's go the career for the
Nah,
matchup together.
Nah, it's me. It's because I'm at work. The connection here is trash.
Let me.
Y'all be
on my
trolling,
end,
bro.
it's
I ain't gonna
it's
hold
not
you,
y'all. I
bro.
don't think it's y'all. It's my end.
Y'all be
Mine.
trolling.
I mean, Musa seemed like he having a little connection problem. We hear you, but it might be a little slow on your end. But again, I'm not saying that Rudy is doing a terrible job out there. I
He
just
could
think,
do better.
I think an adjustment needs to be made. I'll let you go, Draco. Maybe put Nas Reed or Karl Anthony Towns on him, and then have Rudy play off the ball because he's a way better
Outside.
off the ball defender for Jokic than.
When he was
To
off,
Clip's point.
Go ahead, go ahead, Draco.
I'm saying he was better off the ball. That was the plan before, because Towns don't know how to help for real. And that's how Gordon keeps scoring, because every time he try to help, it ain't right, and Gordon just get the backdoor dunk or whatever. So you got to switch it back.
I just want to say to Clip's point, it don't matter what Rudy could do. If you defensive player of the year, you're supposed to be the best defender in the league.
You have to figure out one way. You're telling me as your reigning defending defensive player of the year that everybody bigged up, including you, Musa, you can't figure out to get one stop.
I just feel like this. If you play him 4 times, you have experience. They have experience. You don't know. Oh, if I push him in this side, he's weaker. He doesn't score as much. If I do this, if I'm up his face like that, height isn't an issue here. I think it comes down to physicality and heart. You can't coach heart.
A lot of people win defensive player of the year playing off-ball defense. Everybody's not like Draymond.
Well, hold on. I'm not even gonna do that because Marcus Smart wasn't ducking no smoke.
But okay, but that's a different pedigree of a person. They're fighting position, they move him and all that. Rudy ain't like that. It's something called preventative defense. They're not preventing Joker from doing nothing.
And that's okay, but whose fault is that?
That's
that's Rudy's fault, right or wrong?
You're right. But back to what Peso said. Make adjustments to put him off the ball. There's a clip out there, honestly, and we've all seen it. I think, excuse me, my grandmother probably seen it, where Jokic had like 47 on Rudy. He's comfortable with Rudy guarding him. He's not scared of Rudy.
Go ahead.
Y'all, because I'm reading Moose's comments in here. right? He said Draymond can't guard Joker. Cool. That's your opinion, right? Y'all remember the Golden State run with Golden State on the last one when y'all went against
2022.
Celtics, 2022, right? They beat Denver 4-1. Draymond was the primary defender. He didn't stop Draymond. He didn't stop Joker, right? But there were key possessions where he knew how to get what? A stop, right?
But why was that though?
Because he knows how to defend.
I think the physicality. I think
he knows how to make an adjustment. There we go.
It's a mentality thing.
Physicality, experience, and adjustments. How can you adjust? How can you what did your experience taught you? And
bro, what does Jamal Murray have to do with this situation? I'm only talking about one stop on Joker. Jamal Murray has nothing to do with one stop on Joker.
Oh, I didn't say Jamal Murray.
No, he said
He said Jamal Murray didn't play. Jamal Murray does not have nothing to do with Draymond stopping Joker in one possession, bro.
I think. My bad, Ace. I'll let you go real quick. I think what, and this is where I'm at. I don't think anybody could guard Jokic 1-on-1. But I think if you replicate off of what we've seen in that finals, which you're referring to, clips or game 1 and 2 specifically, what Minnesota was able to do on the defensive end, hounding him and having Rudy off the ball, I think that makes it a lot tougher for Jokic. But can't nobody guard him 1-on-1. We all know that. Go ahead, Ace.
I feel like he can, but honestly, I'm going back, and I hate to be that guy. That Lakers team with Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard is one of the only people I've seen where he had him without depending on help. He had help, but he didn't need help. He was physical. He was able to get off the ground. Jokic doesn't even jump or dunk. Could you imagine if he gets his vertical up, the league would really be in trouble. AD does it. I just feel like the people who guard him, for Rudy to guard him and struggle is kind of difficult to me only because Rudy doesn't have a lot of offensive responsibility. AD has to defend and score. Rudy just has to defend. You spend most of your time just worrying about him on defense. Rudy isn't a top option on offense for that team. So that's the part that gets me going. I feel like, but back to the original question at hand before we all got, well, I can't even say we all, before I got invested in this, Minnesota has to fight the best they can to stay from getting eliminated. However, if Rudy doesn't have the physicality, the heart, or experience, or any of the three, he needs 2 of the 3, all of the 3. If he doesn't do what he needs to do this next game, they're going home.
They don't got nobody on that bench that will
I'll say this. I'm gonna say this and I'll leave it alone. I bet you I put $100. Wemby, y'all favorite man Wemby that y'all was cheering for, you would say Wemby would get a stop on him, right though? And that's for Musa when he watched back. That's all. Go ahead.
He did. They played.
You give it up. Like let's be for real, bro. Let's be for real.
When Wemby played him, when Wemby played him, it didn't go right.
Jokic cooked him too.
No, Jokic cooked him, but it was a play where I want to say Wemby got 2 deflects or 1 block for sure, then a deflect. Jokic said, "Don't do that again." And Jokic said, honestly, he said, "I couldn't normally do what I wanted to do against him."
But then if Wemby had that team, he got a better defensive cast around him.
But that's my point, Draco. I'm saying that nobody can guard Jokic 1-on-1. We all know that. You can't stop him, but you could contain him. You could make adjustments on defense to contain it.
All you need is one stop, bro.
You need to worry about the others. You can't worry about Jokic. Allow Jokic to do what he does. But if you let him score that 40 ball and do assists as well, getting people in the open lanes with Aaron Gordon backdoor and just sleeping on defense, like you're cooked.
So technically, the weak link is Towns, defensively.
Yeah, we cannot let him off. Thank you. I was just about to say the same thing.
A lot of great.
That's a good take too.
Huh? I want to hear what Mike has to say about this series and this ending game.
I'm still gonna die on the Wolves pedestal, and I'll be losing some money too if they lose. So it is what it is. But yeah, I'm gonna still pick the Wolves. Not too confident in it, but I gotta stick with my pick. I would like to see Naz Reid on Jokic to try to contain him. Maybe I don't know. Cat's been really inconsistent at points, and Rudy's just playing downright awful.
Naz Reid is like 6'10", 6'11".
Yeah, man, please. If y'all
he did a lot better on Jokic, in my opinion, 1-on-1, specifically those first 2 games than Rudy's done.
Joker only 6'10", right?
7 feet.
I think he's like 7 feet.
I think he's 7 feet.
You got to try something different, though. If it's not working, just try something different. If it doesn't work, so what? What you're doing right now ain't working regardless. You got to try something different.
Yeah, maybe.
No, without Rudy. For
I
that.
agree with y'all. Try something different, but at the end of the day, bro, you as the center, you are the last line of defense, bro. You need to have some pride when you stand in mano in the post with that man, bro. That's all I'm saying.
What you had said, Draco?
I'm saying though, they played good without him. The thing is, Rudy is a good off-ball defender, bro. If somebody really let's be real, Joker is a killer right now. You let that killer get to that gun, you done with.
I think they already let the killer loose.
Yeah.
So, I don't know,
And
man.
that's what I'm saying.
He's cleaning up the crime scene.
We are not gun violence is just a
reference. It's a reference.
Oh wait,
They didn't let the hound loose, fellas.
not saying more than gun violence. It's just an analogy, and we're gonna let that be said right there.
Nah, Joker was playing like he wanted to go back to them horses. I ain't gonna lie.
Man,
hey, let me ask y'all this, right? Could Embiid compete with this type of Joker?
Yes. Yo, and this one I'm telling you right now. I'm being 100.
Not when
if
he's
that was
injured.
if that was Embiid ain't going for all that, letting him get in front of him in the post, and that's not happening, bro.
Honestly,
Embiid is banging, bro.
Really speaking right now, did AD do a better job, or could AD learn from Rudy Gobert?
AD?
I think AD is a totally separate, different defender than Rudy when he wants to be.
Yeah,
he could actually, and we've seen it the first series, and AD was able to bring that along with the offensive game that he had too. I think that's what balanced it out for him.
With AD and Embiid, they have to score, but they have to defend. Rudy Gobert isn't a top offensive weapon for them. You just have to defend. So I feel like he has more of a cheat code. If you just have to defend and you can't even do that, and defensive player of the year.
But then think about it. That offense tired out Joker on the other end. He's not tired.
And that's yeah.
Rudy doesn't have to get tired on the offensive end.
I'm not gonna lie. What they need to do is, if Rudy's not gonna score, right? What they need to do offensively is get Joker in some type of mismatch and have the guards continue to just go at him. Because Joker, I mean, like you said, Joker's gonna waste all his offense, all his energy.
I would just like to see I would like to see a 2-3 with Anthony Edwards and McDaniels up top.
Nope.
With Cat.
I like to see that, but their rotation sucks. The way Jokic gets to that free throw
and catch fire.
The way he gets that to that free throw and find that backdoor alley-oop on Gordon and MPJ, I don't even get to the 2-3.
Michael Conley also is a missing factor too, so you gotta count that. That's
I just don't think that would have never made a difference, to be honest with you.
Michael Conley?
Yeah.
You don't think so? He would have scored 12 points. That would have made a big difference.
I mean, yeah, but the real problem is Minnesota on the defensive end, specifically in the paint. Michael Conley can't do nothing about that. And that's the thing. Like Rudy, just like we said with Anthony Davis was out there matching points with Jokic or doing more. Like Rudy Gobert ain't doing nothing on the defensive end or the offensive end. What the hell? But we'll see, man. Who y'all got tonight?
Minnesota.
I got Minnesota.
I'm playing devil's advocate and going Minnesota. Yeah. I just want to see 7. That's all. I just want to see 7.
I want to see AE win, boy.
As simple as that.
I had Minnesota in 7, but I think Denver's going to close it out tonight, man. Everybody tuning in, man. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure y'all like the channel, subscribe to the channel below. Continue to share. Tune in for episode 23 this Saturday. Peace.
Be a goodie.
Brady A. Hey, run that thing up.